I got the call to do The Abyss, I believe it was in 1988, 21 years ago now. It was right after Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. While I was finishing up Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, John Bruno, a really, really cool guy that I had worked with quite a bit at Boss Film, he was the art director for Boss Film on basically all of the films I did there. John thought that I would be a really good candidate to handle the creature effects for The Abyss. And so James called me up, and I actually had to go down to his office at 20th Century Fox, and because he didn't want the script leaving his office, I had to read it in his office. And when I finished reading it, he met with me and he said, here's what I want you to do. What I want to create here, what I'd like you to create for this film, is the single most ethereal, beautiful, graceful alien, non-terrestrial intelligence. These things live deep under the ocean, and they absolutely must be the most beautiful thing anyone has ever seen. They have to be glass clear, they have to self-illuminate and change colors, and I actually want to film them underwater. Are you interested? And of course, at the time, I was an enormous James Cameron fan, and of course I was starting my own company and wanted to really make my mark, and I said, you bet I am, having no idea what I was going to get myself into. It turned out to be probably the single most asinine decision I've ever made, to just say, yes, I'll do that. I mean, how can anyone say, sure, I'll do that? Just walk into a room and have someone say, I want the most beautiful thing ever that can be clear, work underwater, change colors. You have no idea if it's possible or not, but you have to put a price tag on it, and you have to say, yes, by this date, I will have all these aliens for you shooting underwater. So that's how I got involved with it, and to this day, I blame my good friend, Mr. John Bruno. Thanks, John. How much did it cost? How much does it cost to make a monster? How much does it ever cost to make a creature? I'll tell you how much it costs. Exactly how much the director wants it to cost. Because there is no price tag. You're making the stuff up as you go. I mean, if the director likes what you're doing, guess what? It doesn't cost as much. If he jumps up and down on your throat until your eyeballs pop out of your head and keeps saying, no, 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 give me more, make it better, make it different, it costs a lot more. Let's see, how did it work on The Abyss? I believe I have very distinct memories of Mr. Cameron jumping up and down in my throat and my eyeballs popping out. Yeah. These aliens cost a lot. How much did they cost? $? I don't know, 300 grand? Seems pointless at this point. I think that was what the initial budget was, but this was 20 years ago, 300 grand was $1 million. But no, I mean, hello, guess what happened? I ran out of money. I completely ran out of money. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just making the stuff up as we went along. It's like, okay, this doesn't work. Let's start all over again. So yeah, it cost a lot of money, and Jim, to his credit, really knows what he wants. And he really knows how to make those that work with him do their best. But of course, that comes with a price tag. So yeah, there came a day where I had to walk into Gale Hurd's office and say, Gale, guess what? You hired me to make some aliens, and I think you want them in a couple of months down there in San Pedro. And guess what? We don't have any more money, and we don't have any aliens either, so something's got to happen here, Gale. Yeah, that meeting didn't go too well.